Hey, in this video, I'm gonna go over some of the things that I think you absolutely shouldn't do as a cuber. As we go forward in this list, I'm going to make the tips more and more advanced. Just as a disclaimer, these are merely my own suggestions and should only be taken seriously if you think it can benefit you. Number 10. Solving the cross faced up. This is a very common mistake that beginners end up doing, and I don't blame them. Once they learn how to solve the cross, they never go to the next step, which is to force the cross at the bottom. Most learners tend to learn CFOP right after the beginner's method, so learning how to solve the cross faced always to the bottom is a crucial step, and will actually end up helping you in the later stages. These little things add up. In more extreme cases, you can end up making the cross while facing the cross color to the side. This is something you should fix right away if you're comfortable enough with it. Number 9. Using BAD Fingertricks. This is something I still struggle with to this day. It's not easy to leave your comfort zone and learn a better finger trick for a specific case, but trust me, it's worth it. When you learn an algorithm in your early stages of cubing, you'll naturally focus more on actually learning the algorithm and not so much on the efficiency of said finger trick. It is super important to learn a good way to execute your algorithms. Let's take two cases, an H perm and a T perm. For the H perm, you might end up doing something like this if you're not careful. Learn how to do double flicks. For an intermediate solver, let's say you're solving your cube and get this case. In this T perm, a lot of people end up re-gripping in the beginning and also over here, instead of just doing it in one single smooth motion like this. Number 8. Trying to learn all of it at once. Say, for the sake of simplicity, you have finished learning the beginner's method and have mastered it. You now feel compelled to learn a faster method. Let's say for the sake of simplicity again, you end up trying to learn CFOP. Good choice! You look up a tutorial and find a good one. It's all going well until
there's a total of 78 algorithms and the last leg.
You feel defeated. Of course you do. Please don't try to learn all of these algorithms at once. I would recommend learning tutorioal and then PLL when you first start. Trying to learn all of it at once will only end up demotivating you and turns out to be extremely inefficient per my experience. This tip applies to learning anything, not just cubing. Number 7. Not taking care of your cube. I don't think I need to say this, but please take good care of your cube. Here's what you shouldn't do with your cube. Keep it in dusty places, uncovered, not cleaning it properly regularly, and I can't believe I have to say this, not using cube lubes for lubricating. Vaseline will completely ruin the plastic of your cube. Oil is also not suitable as cube lube. And for that one guy in my class, no, you shouldn't wash your cube with detergent. Use cube lube. It's affordable and it works well. Support some cubing stores in the meantime, or even your favorite creators. Here's a quick and dirty way to tell what kind of lube you need. Does it feel too slow? Clean it up and lube with something that adds speed plus some weight if the speed feels too much. Does it feel uncontrollable or too fast? Clean it up and add something that adds weight plus some speed if it feels too gummy or slow. Does it feel perfect but hasn't been lubed in a while? Clean it up and add the same setup as you did before. Never leave your cube dry. Please. And also don't throw it against the wall like this. Number 6. Not know when to buy a new cube. Listen, I get it. The new GAN release looked really cool and you were compelled to buy it, so you asked your parents or guardian for the new cube. They obviously denied until you started crying over it like a little baby you are. Buying a shiny new expensive cube will not make you faster, especially early on. If you feel like your cube is completely restricting your flow, buy a cube that makes sense, not a cube that is the best in the market. Conclusion, don't buy a GAN X when you're barely sub 40 like NDS. Number 5. Practicing the wrong way. It's extremely easy to think of practice as doing as many solves as you possibly can until you improve. While that does kind of work, please don't. Here's a good analogy. Consider your machine learning program. You do a specific task, the same thing over and over and over until it gives interesting results. So where's the catch? It's in the word machine learning itself. You are not a machine. You cannot brute force practice and expect it to be efficient. A machine, however, can do this very well. What should you do to be better than a machine learning algorithm? Well, instead of mindlessly solving thousands of times in your comfort zone, make sure to work on your weaknesses while you're doing time solves. When you think you've plateaued at a certain time, record yourself and see where your weaknesses are. Recording yourself is extremely effective because you no longer have the excuse that you can't see what is wrong with the solves. Number 4. Not subscribing to Roomix Cubing. This one is a pretty unique technique, but a sub to the channel or a like would mean more videos like these for you. and a number larger than the previous one for me. Number 3, not looking ahead. We're getting into more advanced tips now. I cannot tell you how important look ahead is. I know you've heard it a million times already, but that's because it is genuinely true. Let's take a look at this solve. We have a pretty good cross but a bad first pair because I didn't look ahead to it. Did you see those rotations and pauses I just took? Awful. That just unknowingly for me broke the entire flow of the solve. I will now be generally slower than usual and use much worse finger tricks than from I'm used to. In contrast, look at this solve. Just because I looked ahead, my brain now knows exactly what it needs to do next and can focus on nicer finger tricks with smoother transitions to pairs. I just cleared off at least 6 seconds from my solve just by looking ahead. Number 2. Get stuck on Intuitive F2L. Most of us start learning CFOP by learning Intuitive F2L, which is great for beginners and helps build the blocks required to master CFOP. But there's a problem. Not in the method, but in the people who learn Intuitive F2L. Once they get comfortable using this method, they forget to take it to the next step and learn some, if not most, F2L algorithms. Here's a few ways it helps. It reduces rotations, meaning you don't have to rotate just to insert a certain pair. It makes it so much easier for you to look ahead to the next pair because the case has become muscle memory. Speaking of muscle memory, treat your intuitive cases as algorithms as well. This will massively improve your times because it takes time to think, but putting it all in muscle memory will make it flow like a river, I don't know. It just helps. Before getting to number 1, which I don't think any of you will expect, I have a few honorable mentions. It is okay to take long breaks. In fact, it helps sometimes because you can work on past bad habits that you have forgotten. Treat cubing as a hobby, and just like all hobbies, you will need to have fun while doing it. Otherwise, there's just no point. Join communities. For example, you can send your solves to be critiqued by the members of our cubers on Reddit. A lot of cubing YouTubers have Discord servers, including Cubehead, Casey, and also me. Come hang, I'd love to see you here. Number 1, not going to cubing competitions. There's literally zero reason for you to not attend a cubing competition, unless you're like me and don't have the means to go to a comp. If you feel like you're too slow, don't worry about it and just please go if you can. I get that the name suggests that it is a competition and you have to compete with a lot of other people. That's just not the case. Think of it more like an event where you hang out with people who have the same hobby as you. So go meet new people and have fun cubing. That's it for the list from my side. I would love to hear some of your tips in the comments below. Also, I would assume that if you've come this far into the video, you've obviously liked the video, right? Of course you have. You're doing great. Good job. What should you do to be better than a machine learning algorithm? What should you do to be better than a machine learning algorithm? What should you do to be better than a machine learning algorithm? What should you do to be better than a machine algorithm?